Hey, JW Leary staff. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm making my video for Monday morning. And I just wanted to touch base with you guys before the week starts. I'm going to talk, as you can see on my screen, a little bit about fourth quarter grading. But other than that, I just wanted to say thank you again for a great week last week. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Getting nothing but positive feedback from the community. Remember to read through the Monday morning email today. There's lots of information I'm putting in there. I know it's a lot, but if you can take a look at it, there's a bunch of things in there I'd like you to read. Also, along with this post this morning will be the grading rubric that Stephanie shared out over the weekend, as well as the video about how to set up your grade book for the rubric that Bill Jaggers put together last week. The one question that I've had most often of all about grading is it doesn't have to do with the rubric itself. It's what are we going to do with the rubric later? So I wanted to take a minute just to talk about that so everybody knew where we were. Um, and let me see if I can make it work. You've all seen the rubric by now. This is actually nothing more than a modified version of the two rubrics that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. It's a 4-point scale. It's got a 0. It makes sense now, unlike the 1 to 4 scale that was there. It's very simple to follow. And everybody seems to be on the same page with that. But what we're getting questions about, like I said, is what does it all mean? Now, I want people to remember, and I'm going to move myself underneath my Muppet guys. You have to remember that it's non-traditional grading for non-traditional times. There's an inclination, if you're thinking traditionally, to look at this and think, okay, a 0 is a 0, and a 1 is a 25, and a 2 is a 50, and a 3 is a 100. I don't think that's the intention of this rubric at all. The rubric was designed to be a framework so we could have a conversation about grades, because at some point in time down the line, we're going to have to make some decisions. I gotta keep moving myself. Sorry. We're gonna have to talk about what the rubric means at some point. There's really two things that could happen this quarter if you're thinking logically. There's the first thing is we're out for the rest of the year, and if that happens, the grades will likely become pass-fail grades, and we're going to have to figure some things out about pass-fail, including how do we come up with an average for the year. And I'll be honest, those decisions haven't been made yet. We still need to do some talking about that. The other thing that's going to have to come back is we're going to have, if we do come back in third quarter, we're almost going to have to reverse what we just did for third quarter. What we just did for third quarter was we looked at a grade, we added remote learning, and then we derived a grade for the quarter. This will almost be the opposite. We're going to have to derive a number for remote learning and then finish off the quarter. So what I wanted to discuss with you and show you an example, and by all means, the next slide's just an example, is put me up here right in the middle. Hi. Um, what you could do, and we're going to put together a group of junior high and senior high staff to determine what we do with these at some point in time. Once we know where we are, once we know if we're going to reopen or if we're not, then we'll be able to have these conversations. It could be just as easy that we decide, and this would be a we decision, that a 0 is a 50. Maybe we decide that's the lowest grade. Maybe we decide if you come in at all and you open the slides, that kid will pass with a 65, once again, for example. Or that if you did everything, now that kid gets an 85, and if everything was really high, it's 100. Or if you look over here, it might be decisions we're making about what's a fail and what's a pass. These decisions haven't been made yet, and they were intentionally not made yet because we don't have enough information to make them. What the rubric is designed to be is nothing more than a framework so we can have these conversations later to put everybody on the same page. I would give you one word of caution with the rubric. It's going to be very important at some point in time that you know how many points your kids could have earned. We left some flexibility in grading. You can grade every lesson, you can put in one grade a week. You're going to have to be able to determine at some point in time how many points they could have earned so we can convert it based on how many points they have earned. So that's all I wanted to say about grading. And I wanted to clear up that one question because a lot of people were thinking, well, the kid that gets a 1 shouldn't be getting a 50. They should be passing because they're at least checking in. Maybe that's the right answer, and that's what the committee will decide later. But I just wanted to let people know that a group of teachers and probably some administrators and other staff are going to be involved with a conversation about that somewhere down the line. So the important thing for this week is just start grading using the rubric. Make sure you watch Bill Jagger's video on how to set up your grade book. He shows you how to set up categories for grading. It'll be slick once you do it. I know a couple of teachers have done it already and it works. And other than that, you can start grading on Monday based on this new rubric. I'm sure there'll be questions. Like I've said many times, we're kind of building the plane as we're flying it right now. So by all means, if you have any questions, reach out to me, give me a call. I may not have even considered or don't even know what the questions are, so I might have to find out the answers, but I promise I will. So I hope everybody has a great week 5 of remote learning. And I'm right here. I'm not at work, but I'm still working hard. So if you need anything, just let me know. Have a great week, everybody. Ruh-roh. I can never remember how to get out of here once I do this. There it is, I think. Yeah, I found it. Goodbye.